What do curlers and flowers have in common? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we're going to make an arrangement with them. Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Blossoms and Bourbon. My name is Mark. I'm the owner here at Creative Occasions. Welcome to my workroom. Always a pleasure to have you guys here. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe to our videos and hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified of new content. So, you remember a few episodes back, I rated my granddaughter's hairbands and we created hairbands, an arrangement with hairbands as the mechanic, right? So, while I was shopping for some of those hairbands, I found these curlers. And of course, immediately the colors of the curlers appealed to me. And I started thinking about an arrangement that I had seen where the designer took aspidistra leaves and spiraled them and stapled them together in little tubes. And then put those little tubes in a bowl and use that as the mechanic for the design. So I thought, well, why can't we use these curlers as the mechanic for the design? So that's what we're gonna try to do. I'm just kind of like putting some down inside the larger ones to kind of give a different kind of space for the mechanic. We may need to adjust that because we do need enough to actually kind of like fill up the space in this bowl. I think it'll work because it looked like it was going to from the size of the packaging. And then as far as flowers go, Laura pulled for me a nice assortment of bright, bold colors that match the colors in the the rollers here. Curlers, rollers. What do you call these things? Rollers? Oh, these exact ones? Are they rollers? Is that what you call them? Yeah. Rollers, okay. So the flowers are going to be this beautiful coral garden rose. We've got some craspedia or billy balls. We have bachelor buttons. A hydrangea that's been beautifully color enhanced by Laura to match this turquoise color that's in the curlers. All right, so I just kind of want to make this little network. The pink one's not going to go in there. We're out of room for pink. Let's put the orange one in there. I want that to be a little more sturdy. I'm kind of changing up the location of a couple of these just because I want it to feel a little more secure. When I start sticking the stems down in there, I don't want a lot of wiggle room. So this is going to be virtually impossible to change the water in. You could do the technique that we often do, where you put this down in the sink and just barely turn on the tap, put the tap over the bowl and just let it flush out. That would probably be the best way to change the water in this. Wasn't quite happy enough with a level of water, a little bit more in there. And also I'm kind of testing the fact that I thought if these weren't tight enough that they might float. That would not be a good thing. So this guy looks like it has the potential to float because he's not bound in there tight. But I think once we do flowers, it's going to be all good. I don't have my alum here, but that's definitely one thing I would do with this is as I cut this, I would dip it in the alum and then pop it into the water. Now that one was actually between that orange and the pink curler. So there was a little space there. So that particular hydrangea was a little more secure, I think, because of that. At first I thought about doing this design all as pave. And pave means everything's kind of on the same level and kind of an even surface. The more I thought about it, the more I did not want to do that. So we're going to change it up a little bit. These tulips have a little bit of age on them. And so I was hoping it might be kind of fun to reflex the tulips for kind of a different look. And reflexing means that you just very gently bend the tulip back against the natural way that the tulip's formed. So a finger there, kind of roll it back over your finger, and then that reflex just holds out. It completely changes the look of the flower and makes it a very different looking bloom compared to what tulips normally are. So that's literally, I don't know if you can see that from the camera above me or not, but that's literally just stuck down in that little yellow roller. Another way you can kind of change up how flowers look, like the reflexing of the tulip, is to pull out the center of the carnation and just grab those petals. Let's get that last little bit of pink out of there. There we go. So that's the carnation without a center. Kind of looks like a ruffledy sort of Lysianthus. I'm going to put both of those in that yellow roller. One of my favorite flowers. I just love that color, that shocking blue color. And so because this is a lightweight bloom, we're going to just kind of let it dance up there above those other flowers. So now we've gone from this arrangement being a pave design to being perhaps more parallel or something because of these insertions of the bachelor buttons up there like that. Do you guys know Traveler Bourbon? It's a great pour. It's one that was a collaboration with Chris Stapleton. Happy sound, such a happy sound. If you haven't tried it, you should. Cheers to Chris Stapleton and some great music. He has great hair. I wonder if he uses these rollers. Probably not. Anyway, cheers, folks. This, is this considered a flower, Shireen? Bupleurum? I always think of it as a foliage.
You could grow it as a greenery.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm suspecting that this little sort of lime green cluster on the end is a bloom of some type. So what I want to show you here is this technique that we're going to do with, we're going to use this. Oh no, here's the tulip. So I've got one piece of the Bupleurum in there. I'm going to put another one in. It's still kind of wonky because those two stems are really skinny and that roller that they're in is not. So what I'm going to do is just take a little leftover piece of stem and I'm going to just jab it right in there, sort of like a little wedge. And now that wedge is going to make that Bupleurum much more secure. So it's not going to move around as much. If you need to do that, you certainly can with other flowers, depending on the stem size and the space that you have with the mechanic you're using, whether it's a roller or something else. All right, and I want this one to go over in this same direction and kind of mimic the direction of that other tulip that's here. See what's happening with that? So we're going to put a little block in there with him too. That's a great idea. Jason's talking about having an ongoing arrangement that would have longevity past just 1 week, where you could just change out some of the flowers every week. When you flush the water out, the mechanic stays in place. I'm sure these things are color fast, so the water's not going to harm those or do anything to them to cause them to break down. Got to put the Cresspedia in there because that's another really fun thing. So now I think, at least personally, this seems like it's kind of taken on this life of, from the sort of pave, sort of modern design, it's a little more garden whimsical now because of these things that are kind of popping up out of it, which I really like. Okay, I think that's kind of fun. Now, for one last little bit of whimsy, Laura and I were talking about this, and this was actually her suggestion. She said, why don't you put a butterfly in it? I said, oh my gosh, that'll be perfect. So I'm just gonna, the butterflies are already on these little wires. They come that way. So the little wire kind of makes it feel almost like it's floating above the flowers. Okay, I think we're gonna call that done. I gotta tell you, I really kind of like that. It's a pleasant surprise. I really thought this could work as a mechanic. I had never tried it, but thought it might be kind of fun to try on camera for you all because I like living on the edge. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you'll feel free to just do this. Wander through the hardware store. Wander through the big box store. Look at things and look at them in a different way. See what it is that it could be. How could that be something that you use in a floral arrangement or as a part of a floral arrangement or as a mechanic for a floral arrangement that you certainly might not have thought of otherwise. And who knows, you might come up with something really fun like this. I hope so. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. So until next time, cheers to you and to flowers every day. Thanks so much.